watch this review here where they look at Mattel's Batman Unlimited, The Dark Knight Returns, Batman. If you're anything like me, you probably own quite a few Batman figures at this point. In this line alone, the sort of DC Universe imprint or umbrella, there have been dozens and dozens of Batman figures. In fact, I was originally planning on just skipping this one because, hey, got so many, but he does have a massively different sculpt, especially in the fact that he's rather huge, massive, you might even say. Compared to a lot of the other ones, then the jointing is quite a bit different, where he's got actual ball joints at his hips as opposed to those sort of T-joints in the other ones. So that sort of gives it some, I guess, appearance value right there, and will sort of set him apart on the shelf among the numerous other Batmans, who, by the way, I don't actually display together. I'll sort of break them up. I have one Batman in one area, another Batman in another area, and then a lot of other Batmans in storage somewhere, just because you can't keep all your friggin' Batmans out at the same time. Too many. I guess the other ones in this wave were another Batman figure than the Planet X Batman, based on, I think it was the Batman R.I.P. storyline, but basically, Bruce Wayne sort of driven insane by his doctor, or somebody impersonating his doctor. The whole story was kind of crappy. I actually read that one, but which is rare because I don't actually follow that many sort of more recent stories in the comics. At any rate, let's take a closer look. The Dark Knight Returns Batman comes with a Batarang, which you can hold in either hand, but I probably won't display him with it ever. Now, it's important that we start off with a height comparison here, because this is really a huge selling point. Again, wordplay. If you notice, he is a bit taller than your standard Batman buck. I mean, it doesn't look like a lot for his height, but just look at the thickness here. Just compare these two torsos. He's got a lot more going there. I mean, his thighs, ginormous. But the Dark Knight Returns Batman was a much beefier guy. They sort of designed Bruce Wayne to look like he could just take down thugs and everything. So, it was an interesting sort of take. I haven't read the whole comic arc, and in fact I've only seen clips from the animated film as well, so I've really got to get back and watch that at some point. But if you look at the cape, you'll also notice that it sort of differs from a lot of the Batman capes we have, in that it's more of a traditional like cape as opposed to the ones with the sort of frills and crap, where it's supposed to look sort of bat-like. No, this is just a cape that he tossed on, clearly. Now, to also do a scale comparison, here's the Darkseid. By the way, the Darkseid from the DC Unlimited line's shoulder pads will kind of warp with time. I had his arm up like this, then, I can't get this stupid thing down again. It's like permanently frozen up there. Didn't mention that in the review, but that is kind of an issue. But yeah, if you'll notice, it looks like they do probably share at least some of the same parts, and same of the general design things. Supposedly, some pieces were reused from Masters of the Universe Classics figures, but a lot of the stuff wasn't. The legs and arms, I believe, were maybe, then the torso, I think, was something originally sculpted. And then, of course, the belts and everything was originally sculpted. That is actually a rubber piece that goes above the actual groin plate. You can sort of see the separation here. It's got a cool amount of sculpting everything, and then you can see that this is actually just soft rubber. It hides the fact that he does have a actual ball joint underneath there, which is the same approach they use with the Darkseid, which is kind of neat. And then we have a point of rotation right above the boot, in that same sort of way, as opposed to where we often had the point of rotation above the knee, the thigh. So, very cool. Now, the one sort of downside is, for whatever reason, they didn't give the rotation up here. They only gave it down here. I thought it would be a lot cooler if they had the rotation at both places, but I guess it's probably a logistical issue. If you're a fan of the original, sort of The Dark Knight Returns or what have you, probably worth picking up. I know that DC Direct, who's now DC Collectibles, also did a version, but from what I've seen, I think this one might look a bit nicer, and of course it is definitely more articulated. We never got a Superman from the same series, though, so if you want to sort of pair them up, you would have to get the DC Direct version. It's very unlikely that we'll ever have anything else, because Mattel sort of moved on from the DC Universe umbrella now, which totally sucks. Wanted to see that going for quite some time, but when they started to move online and do their sort of specialty retail things, the writing was kind of on the wall. I wasn't expecting it to really last. So it was a pretty drastic configuration change. But yeah, I think he's pretty cool. Not my favorite Batman figure, mind you, but definitely something that will sort of stand out among the other Batman figures.